to my channel. My name is Haley Hudson, and today I'm going to be telling you all about how I moved out of my parents' house and into my own place in Hollywood at the age of 18. So step one is pretty obvious, and that is to get a job as soon as possible. It is so important to have as much money saved up as possible before you move, so when you do move, you'll have that strong foundation and financial security. I personally started earning my own money at the age of 14. I started by dog walking. Now for me, that meant making up my own flyers, putting them around the neighborhood, finding my local neighborhood Facebook groups, putting advertisements up there through my mom's profile, and really talking to friends, talking to my friends' parents, seeing who had dogs that needed walking. Now, I really did start working at the age of 14. I set my price to $5 half an hour, $10 a full hour. Most people had me walk their dog a full hour. I was raking in about 50 bucks a day at the age of 14. Now, I really did start saving. I opened up a savings account, of course with my mom's help, and I really just started putting the vast majority of the money that I did make into that savings account, and it really helped me so much growing up. I'm 18, I've been all over Spain, all over Italy, I've been to Paris, I've been to London, and so many more countries, and that's really all because I've worked so hard all throughout my life, and of course, I have my own apartment. So once you do start working, it's really important to kind of figure out a way how to manage your finances. Now there are a ton of fancy apps that you can buy and different journals that you can buy in order to do this, but the easiest way for me to manage my finances was actually in the notes on my phone. So ever since I've been 14, I've kept a note in my phone titled Finances at the top, and I have a list of all my different savings accounts where I distribute all of my income. So you probably can't see up close, so I'll just read it to you. But in my travel fund right now, I'm putting 15% of everything I earn into my travel fund, 10% into my emergency fund, and that fund I do not touch unless it is an emergency, and that means tickets, which I do get a lot, unfortunately. Moving the emergency fund definitely helped me so much. So you really need that emergency fund because you never know what will come up. 15% goes into my aesthetics account. So with that account, I do laser hair removal, I do all my makeup, facials, stuff like that, my hair, you know, like all that good stuff. So I'm not just spending all of my income on aesthetics. I actually have a separate account where I don't feel guilty about taking money out of it to get a facial. And then 10% of everything I make goes into my rent account. So once you've been working on building up your finances and you have a little bit of money saved up, please, once you turn 18, get a credit card. I personally went with Discover. I got a Discover It secured card, and I put $200 down, so my limit was $200, which was good for me because then I couldn't go crazy with my spending. I knew I wouldn't anyway, but it's good to have that peace of mind because when you do go to get your own apartment, you are going to have to give them your credit score, and if you don't have one, it makes you look unreliable, it makes you look immature and untrustworthy, and it will be a lot harder for you to actually get a place. So once you've been working a little bit and you have some money saved up, start looking in the area that you want to live in. Also figure out some prices that a lot of people don't really take into account. So figure out how much food will cost you there, how much the restaurants are, what are the clothes shops in the area, how much will you really be spending a month. You really need to calculate that budget, figure out how much you'll be spending, and then go from there and figure out how much you need to save before moving. Now, I personally chose West Hollywood, so I knew it was going to be really hard for me, so I knew I had to work extra hard in order to save up extra money. So for me in West Hollywood, I would recommend before you move saving up about $5,000. Now, I spent a little bit over $5,000, but I mean, that included first and last month's rent, that included a new refrigerator, new bed, new coffee table, a lot of new furniture, and I wasn't really shopping as affordably as I could have. Me and my roommate actually made the move to West Hollywood without even going to IKEA once. We were shopping at contemporary furniture stores, more high-end places, so you could probably do it for about $5,000. Now once you figured out how much your budget is going to be, stop shopping. Literally, please stop shopping. I know it's really hard to go out with your friends, go out to the mall and not buy anything, but you are going to be thanking yourself so much in a couple months when you move out and you don't have all that extra clutter and you do have the money to move out. There's a lot of friends that I used to go shopping with. I would buy maybe one thing, maybe, you know, $20 necklace, $50 shirt, and they would buy a ton of clothes. And of course I'd be jealous that I wasn't the one and I would maybe look like I didn't have that much money, when in reality I was the one saving all of my money and they're still living at home without really a chance of moving anywhere in the near future. So it all comes down to what you choose to spend your money on. So if you're shopping every weekend, you're buying a new pair of shoes every weekend, realistically, you're not going to be able to move out at 18. You have to work so hard to save up your money, to lessen your clutter, and really take financial responsibility for yourself. And if you do really have that shopping bug, one thing I would recommend is going shopping to Home Goods or Target and collecting some things that you're really gonna need once you do move. For example, I bought a lot of my kitchenware supplies before I actually moved. So it was really nice for me to get here and not have to buy any kitchen stuff whatsoever. I had already bought a rice cooker, silverware, knives, so it was really easy for me to kind of get in and get settled because I had prepared and I had bought a lot of my kitchenware beforehand. So in maybe the year before you move, if you really want to shop, you can, and you can spend money, but make really smart choices about what you do want to spend your money on and spend wisely. Now, once you've figured out where you want to be and how much your budget is going to be, you need to figure out how much you need to be earning per month. So I would recommend, once you really become serious and set on the area that you want to live in, start working in that area. That way you can get a hold of new friends, new connections in that area, kind of get a sense of the vibe of the neighborhood, see like the restaurants that you're going to be hanging out at, the coffee shops you're going to go to, and that will make it so much easier to make the transition once you're actually ready to. I was working in Los Angeles for approximately 5 months before I actually did move here. I made a lot of great friends in this area, and now I'm so comfortable in my environment. I know exactly all the streets, I know where to go, I know where my Whole Foods is. I'm not just kind of wandering aimlessly. It's just really important to get that sense of self before you actually do make the move, so you're not just like hopelessly wandering through the streets, kind of like, oh, like regretting it, wondering where you actually are. So yeah, it's definitely a really good idea to scope out the place, make a life for yourself before you actually do make that move. So once you're comfortable in the area, you have a little bit of money, start looking and start getting excited. It is so exciting to move to a new place. I could not be happier. Just starting fresh, really being in an environment where I know I'm going to thrive, and already just feeling that motivation of being in LA. It's so exciting and invigorating. So get really excited because you are doing amazing. Keep in mind, you are young. Now, personally, in Los Angeles, you need to have a credit history of over a year, and you need to have been making 3 times your monthly rent payments for over a year. Now, I didn't have either one of those. I have 5 months of a credit history, and I've been making 3 times the rent for about 3 months. So I knew it was going to be a little bit more challenging for me to find a place than it would be for an adult. So I really looked at my options, and I figured that I could pay for 6 months of rent in full in advance. So when I contacted the landlord of the property that I wanted to move into, I told him that I was willing to pay up to 6 months in advance because I knew that it would be hard to accept me otherwise. And because of this offer, I was accepted. So you really have to look at your options, understand that you probably won't be accepted into the first property that you apply yourself to, and if you can, offer a couple months up front and it will really help you, take my word for it. And lastly, you really have to ignore the criticisms of all the people that lived in your other city. And it was so important for me to just kind of understand that I am pursuing my dreams and I am living a life that most people don't ever get to live in their lifetime at 18. Now that's going to come with a lot of haters and a lot of negativity, but you really have to remember that you are doing this for yourself and you are doing something that you've wanted to do. And most people, like I said, don't do this for a very long time. And it is hard to take an untraditional route, but it pays off so much and you will thank yourself for it. So yeah, I hope you guys follow all these tips and enjoy your new life. And once you do move, just take it one day and one project at a time. It can be super overwhelming, especially at such a young age to move out, but you just have to remember that you are doing something so amazing and you really just have to take it one day at a time. Let me know if any of these tips help you guys in general. If you do want to move, if you're 18, if you're 20, I hope you really enjoyed these tips and really will stick to them because they will help you so much. So I'll be giving an apartment tour once this place is really fully put together. There's still a couple things that we need to knock out, but until then, this is what you guys will see. So yeah, like I said, I hope you enjoyed these tips. I'll be giving out a lot more advice. Follow my social media, Darling Haley. Everything will be linked down there. I'll see you guys in my next video.